Attack on Titan has reached its final episode, and many viewers are confused about the ending. In this video I will explain everything you need to know about it. First, here is a summary. Eren tries to destroy much of humanity with the rumbling in order to protect the people on the island. However, he is stopped when people from the island like Armin, Jean, Levi, Mikasa, and Connie try to stop him. Eventually Eren is killed by Mikasa. Then he and Mikasa are buried in a tree that grows very big in the end credits scene. The first part that many people do not really understand is the reveal of the worm inside Eren. Some people believe that this worm is the source of all living matter and was the source of the Titan power. However, this is a misinterpretation. The author left many clues as to what the worm really is. Through the entirety of Attack on Titan, the motif of water was heavily developed. For example, the objective of the first few seasons was to reach the sea. However, within large bodies of water like lakes, there can be amoeba like the Naglaria filari. These amoeba can enter the body and in some cases, even the brain. Eren spent a lot of time in water after escaping the island. If you look at this image, you can see the amoeba that enters Eren's ear and makes it to his brain. When Eren transformed into the founding Titan, all of the life in his body like bacteria and the amoeba grew in size with him. However, when Armin tried to blow up Eren was severely damaged and the worm was able to leave his body, which is why it maintained its large size. The amoeba was not destroyed in the blast because many life forms like cockroaches are extremely resilient and can even survive a nuclear blast. While the amoeba is not important to the plot at all, it still has a purpose. The reason the author included the amoeba is to develop the theme that life continues even while humans fight. This draws allusion to famous works of fiction like Ray Bradbury's short story There Will Come Soft Rains, where in a post-nuclear world, plants and animals still live and adapt to what humans left behind. Next, another confusing part for many watchers is where Eren talks about destiny. Many viewers believe the author included the anecdote about destiny to justify Eren's mass murder and say that it was not his fault. However, this is completely missing the point. In this case, destiny means that you can only follow one path. Once Eren was able to see the future, it became impossible to change it. This is because anything that Eren may try to do to change the future was already taken into account in the future. It is left up to interpretation if the acts of Eren trying to defy destiny ended up manifesting destiny instead, or if Eren was trapped by a paradoxical view of the future where any possibility that he could do in the future could be viewed in the future. Therefore creating an infinite future where any potential action Eren might take already existed, and the culmination of those existences resulted in Eren's actions. Make of that what you will. There are similar concepts in other highly acclaimed works that did not draw this criticism like Berserk. In Berserk, the Behelit is said to always fall into the hands of the rightful owner, no matter what is done to stop it. For example, the Behelit is lost by Griffith, and yet in the time Griffith was destined to use it, actions far outside the scope of notice carried the Behelit to Griffith, which eventually resulted in the destined eclipse. It is easiest to understand this by imagining that you were to pick a random person and then go into the future, past when they died, you could see the path that person took in their life. Then you could go back into the past and watch that person take those same exact actions, their destiny. The only way to change their destiny would be to interfere. Therefore, the only way to change a destiny is to be an external force that also knows the destiny. An internal force can never influence destiny because their own destiny takes their own future actions into account, just like in physics, an internal force can never change momentum. Even this theory might not be true because what if the external influence is also taken into account in destiny? You could also go to the future of the external time traveler and influence their destiny, and then extrapolate that to millions of time travelers watching millions of time travelers never to escape the all-powerful destiny. Anyways, moving on to the final piece of the puzzle, which is the end credits scene where the tree grows, and there is a hole in the tree, and there is a boy and a dog who walk to the tree and look like they will enter the tree and maybe fall into a hole in the tree and get the Titan power in the tree. Many pundits theorize that this means that the events of Attack on Titan will loop and Titans will come into existence again. This is because Ymir went into a tree and originally got the Titan power. While this might be an interesting ending theory, it is not accurate. The author did not intend for this sad interpretation. Instead, the ending is actually a happy one. To see this, you only need to look at what the boy has. He has a dog which he used to help locate the tree. Most importantly, on his back and in his hand, you can see wooden planks. He is not there to go in the tree and fall in a hole, He is there to board up the entrance to the tree to make sure nobody slips and falls and kills 80% of humanity again by accident. He was probably sent by the government to do that because, as Jean and Armin discussed on the boat heading to the island, there will be history books written. Many of the attack on Titaners knew about Yammer's story, so they wrote about the dangers of trees and holes. After reading this, the government noticed that Eren's tree looked similar and sent the boy to patch it up. After this, most likely, no one will ever reawaken the Titan power, and the world will live on. The author did this in order to develop the thesis that even though humans might make mistakes, like mass murder of 80% of all humanity, in the end humans can learn from history and stop the cycle. By the way, the main reason the author included the tree in the ending was just because it looked cool, because if it didn't look cool, then they would not want to show the boring scene of the boy boarding up the tree. Also, as technology develops, humans are better able to pass important information from generation to generation. This is shown with the history book about the Titans that I mentioned earlier. In the end credits scene you see much destruction from human-made weapons, which shows that human weapons will remain the main threat to humanity in the future, not the Titans. Eventually, the humans in Attack on Titan might be able to resolve all their conflicts and get rid of war just like how it is in the real world. This is why Attack on Titan is not a story of cycles and sorrow, but is instead a story of humanity's ability to triumph and rebuild, no matter the challenge or destruction. Truly a beautiful and inspiring story. Hopefully this cleared up the ending for you. If you agree, make sure to like and subscribe. If you would like me to explain more anime endings, comment down below.